Hi everybody, welcome back to the Final Fantasy Brave Exvius Global Channel Beginner Series. Once again, I'm your host, Alex, right? Or let the meme live long, Alex. And today, right, I will be doing something quite a bit different, right? Because I've been progressing through Rain and Lastwell's adventure, and I'm sure you have too. But this is a beginner series, and there are some things which are kind of hard, right, to learn on your own, right? Because there's so much to this world, right? There's crafting, there's items, there's bosses, there's story, there's events, right? Where do you even begin? And so that's why I thought that I would take the time to explain some of these things to you. So, right, without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so first of all, right, I was a complete beginner at this too when I started recently, but what I've often wondered, and what you may be wondering too, is, how do I actually play the game, right? Or not how do I play the game, but what's the most efficient way to progress, right? Because there's so many things to do, right? Where do you even start? So I thought I would take the time, right, to explain what I've been doing and what, you could try to do as well. So what I started by doing, right, is just going through the story, right? Following Rain and Lastwell, going through the quests, right? Going through the storyline. And I made it pretty far that way, right? But while doing that, right, I also recommend that you take the time to do the exploration dungeons, right? Even in the cities, right? If you explore, you can find some hidden chests, right? Like we showed in the previous videos and like I'll show you, right, from videos here on out. Get the chests, even the locked chests, you can get some really cool items, right? Not only that, but there are also many espers that you can find throughout, which will greatly help you on your quest. So, getting the chest, getting espers, finding items, right? That's all things you can do in addition to the main storyline. But then what often happens is you get stuck, right? This has happened to me a couple times, right, through the storyline. But what are you supposed to do when you get stuck, right? When you run into an enemy so strong that you can't even begin to imagine how you can defeat him, right? Well, in that case, you need to actually make your units stronger. Let me explain to you how to do that, right? There are a couple things you can do, and one of them, right, is by checking out your units, right? What you'll want to do is you'll want to basically increase their level, right? So for example, I got one level 72 right here, right? You'll want to increase their level to the maximum level. So in my case, that's level 100 for this particular character, but depending on where your characters are at, there will be different levels, maybe 60, 80, who knows. But by clicking on the enhance button, right, you'll actually be able to tap and choose, these metal gigantars, right, to give you experience. So let's just say, I'm just gonna do it for the heck of it. Just give them a couple, let me see. Let me use all of them that I have, right? Fuse them. And by doing this, right, your character will actually gain a lot of experience and hopefully, right, you can max out your character's level this way. Of course, you can get experience, right, just by completing the natural quest, but metal gigantars help too. And I'll show you where you can get some more of those later on. But there you go. See, increasing levels, let me skip through this, but as you can see, this character, just by increasing this person's level, your characters actually get pretty strong by doing this, right? So it's not just about finding the chest, and getting better equipment, but it's also about leveling up your characters. And by doing this, wow, I actually was able to get to level 100, and as you can see, my HP increased a lot, my attack increased, my magic increased, right? It just makes your character all around a lot stronger. Yeah, that's how you enhance your units. But once you bring them up to the maximum level, right, that's when you can actually awaken your units and basically make it so that you can level them up even more and make them even stronger, even more powerful, right? So to do that, let's see. I have all of them max level, right? So if I choose Rain, for example, I can actually awaken him right now. And his max level is 80, right? I've already leveled him up to that, but as long as you get the right materials, and I will show you where you can get those more easily, right, later on, because they can be pretty hard to find. But if you go ahead and awaken your characters like that, then It'll show you a little quick animation, and just like that, your character becomes stronger. They'll often gain, right? They'll gain a star, and they'll often gain new abilities, right? Become more powerful. You can see just by awakening my character, right? His HP went up, his attack went up, his defense went up, and just like that, he got, even his limit burst, became stronger. And that's how you awaken your characters. And from here on out, right? He's back to level 1 at this new star level. And so now you'll want to get him experience, maybe enhance him using metal gigantars, other things, and get him to level 100 again, where you can try to awaken him again, right? And so it's by following this cycle, right, that you can make your units stronger if you get stuck. And not just that, of course, but you will want to also check out your unit's equipment, right? If you go to their equipment, right, you can see what they have, right? I have some pretty good stuff right now, but I'm always trying to get stronger. And by finding, right, these equipment in the chest, by crafting them from the recipes, right, and getting them from events, right, you can make your characters really strong just like that. Because what you will want to aim for, right, to make your characters really strong, you will want to aim to get like 400, between 400 500 attack if it's a attack damage focused character, or if it's a magic focused character, again around 400 magic or so. If you get there, you'll have a really strong character in your hands, and you'll have a really easy time going through the storyline probably. But yeah, you can get that, right, through this equipment, which can give you plus attack or plus magic, and also abilities, right? I currently don't actually have any equipped right now, but just clicking on those and equipping whatever abilities you want, right? That'll help your character become a lot stronger too. And so that's how you can, if you ever get stuck, right? By enhancing your unit, by awakening your unit, right? By giving them equipment and also changing their abilities, right? You can make your characters a lot stronger, your party a lot stronger, and it'll unblock you basically and allow you to continue the storyline. Okay, so next, right, I want to take the time to talk to you about events, right, and how they work. Because, of course, you will want to be progressing through Rain and Lastwell's story, but there are many other things that you can do outside of that, right, to help you, for example, when you get stuck, right, if you need a better equipment, right, better gear, new abilities, right, or, yeah, even just materials, right, to awaken your units, just like we talked about. I will tell you about how you can get those, right, more easily. And so, the first thing I want to tell you about is the 3 different types of events, right? And of course, you can find all those events in the Vortex, right? But I think to make explaining all this a little easier, since there is a lot of information, right, that I'm just going to throw at you right now, just going into the announcements, right? You can find notices about ongoing events, right? So starting first with, let's see right here, Estark's Challenge, right? This is going to be the first type of event, right? A raid event, okay? Now, here are the particularities of the raid event. Let me explain it all to you. So, of course, looking at this notice, you can see the event period, right? And there are new events all the time, right? And you can see the raid summon period. We'll get to that in a second. So first of all, you can see that Estark, he appears in the dimensional vortex, right? Evil demon, right? And if you damage Estark, right? If you fight him, defeat him, you can get first event points, right? You can get these event points and also raid coins, right? You get these 2 rewards from just doing this event. And first, the event points, right? If you accumulate more, you can get individual rewards, as it says here, based on the event points you collect. So these include things like equipment and other rewards, right? And recipes as well. But then the really interesting part is when you get the raid coins, right? With those, you can perform actual raid summons, right? And those will actually get you lots of things. Like you'll get Gil, you'll get Metal Gigantars, you'll get, you'll get the materials for the recipes for the weapons which you want to craft, and you'll get magicites, you'll get just a ton of cool stuff, right? So you can get those materials, right, to obtain from the raid summon to craft event-limited equipment, just like I just mentioned. And for example, the Dragovian Spear, right? Attack plus 90, that's crazy, man. Enables Dragon Killer and Demon Killer, right? Sacred Claw, attack plus 70. You can go ahead and read all this more on your own, but I want to show you, right, that you can just get all this ton of cool equipment, right? And this should really help you out on your quest if you get stuck. But let me show you in the summon section, right, what you can do when you get those raid coins, right? Just going on to the summon section, right? I've done a bit of this myself already. So if you go on to the standard summon, right, you can see that there's the raid summon, right? The dragon quest right there. And so I'm gonna tap on that, and I've actually done this, so I've gotten some raid coins already. I've got about 17,000, and this is where you can get the really cool rewards, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and do a multi-summon for you, right? See how this goes. So just clicking there right now, there's the tapped screen to get your rewards, and boom. Okay, so I got a ton of stuff. I got Metal Gigantars, I've got right, some trust boosters. I even got a new character, Draki. Welcome, Draki. Right? You get just basically a ton of stuff, right? All this just from completing the events, right? So this is what I pulled, right? And of course what you get will be different, but again, you can get anything from Gil, right? Gigantar's equipment, materials for your equipment, Magicites, and just a ton of cool stuff, right? So again, you will want to use these Gigantars and these Trust Muggles to basically make your units more powerful, right? So that you can eventually awaken them too. Okay, wow, and as you can see, we've also gotten a lot of items from this multi-summon. That's the multi-summon for you. So you can see we got some Magicites, right? And also a couple Megasites, right? Which you can use to, of course, level up your Espers. But not just that, we got a ton of pretty rare materials too, which you can use to actually craft the weapons and armor and other equipment that you have the recipes of. Which again, you can get some of those, through the event points by doing these raid events. So that's the first raid event. Now, moving on, I want to show you the Mog King event, right? And so again, probably the easiest way to explain this to you is by going to the notices right here about the ongoing events. So a King Mog event, for example, is the Shrine of Ruavitao. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but there it is. It's a Final Fantasy XI event, right? Event dungeon, the Shrine of Ruavitao. And okay, there's a bit of text right there. You can go ahead and read that on your own if you want. Again, you see the campaign period, the claim period to actually get your rewards, and here it is. By doing different quests, right? It starts off easy, but it gets progressively harder and harder. So depending on how far along in the game you are, you will be able to get more rewards if you can actually defeat the enemies that you face in this event. So you can get some rare summon tickets, right? Some faded crystals, lapises, and quite a bit. So let's read through this. Collect and exchange faded crystals for items. Okay, I'll show you how to do this in a bit, but basically, these are dropped during each quest, and you exchange them for items by talking to King Mog in the Dimensional Vortex. Cool. Right? And again, here you can get some event-exclusive equipment. So these are items that you can only get through this event, right? And they do tend to be pretty powerful, like the Ulfidin Axe, right? 112 attack. Like, I don't even have a weapon that strong yet. The Scoffing Break, and also some abilities, right? Which are pretty good, boosting attack and magic by 10%, defense and SPR by 10%. That's not bad. You can also get guaranteed tickets, and yeah, this explains more in detail, right, what these weapons are good against and all that stuff. But let me show you where to actually exchange your faded crystals. You'll want to go, back to home, head into the vortex, right? And right over here on the top right, you see the King Mog and the exchange button. So you'll want to hop in right there and just talking to him like that. Item exchange. you can see how many faded crystals you have in the top right. I've already exchanged some of mine, so I don't have many left. But as you can see, you can get some tickets, right? Guaranteed tickets for some really great summons. Rare summon tickets. There are some weapons that you can get. Again, these are some that were mentioned previously in the notice. Really powerful stuff right there. But they do cost quite a bit of faded crystals, so you will need to participate in these events, right? And gather those. You get some Gigantars, again, to enhance your units. Give them experience. You get some Trust Moogles. You can get a ton of stuff. You can even get some potions, but also what I actually use my faded crystals for is to get basically the materials that you need to awaken your units, right? Because once you use the Gigantars to basically raise your units to the maximum level, you will want to awaken them, just like I explained previously. And here is where you can get them, right? You can also get some Star Quartz. Basically, a lot of cool stuff. There it is again, right? What you need, the materials you need to awaken your units, like Calamity Writ, Prismatic Horn, right? Rainbow Bloom. All the good stuff. So that's the King Mog event, right? Again, sorry, it's a lot of information, but you know, if you actually go ahead and try these events for yourself, you will get some really cool stuff. So last but not least is the story events. And let me explain it through one of the planned events, right? Which I believe starts today, right? The Color of Heartlessness. So here it is, okay? Again, you can get event limited equipment and ability awakening materials, which are pretty cool. So you can get a 5-star select summon ticket, right? Just through doing the story event. And as this is a story event, there will be a story which you can follow, right? Which is in addition to the main, Rain Last Well storyline. So you can get, if you're a fan of the storyline, then this will definitely be up your alley. And yeah, bonus stages, right? And let's see, here's how you do it. 1, of course, you participate in the event, right? These will appear, as a banner, and even on your home screen sometimes. And then you select an area, right? Choose your party, and select a companion and set off. As you complete the quest in order, right? You will get various rewards, and these include, these limited equipment, right, that you can only get from this event, but also, right, ability awakening materials, right? So if you want to increase the abilities that your units have, you will, need to use these, and, right? Though I'm sure you can get some of these items in different parts of the game, right? Doing the events, you really get a lot of these items, which will really come in handy. So, again, different battle stage, scenario stages. You can read this more thoroughly on your own, but that's about it, right? Why do this? Because sometimes you will get stuck, right? I've gotten stuck plenty of times too while trying to progress through the main storyline. And though I've done what I mentioned before, right? Enhancing my characters, awakening my characters, giving them better equipment, giving them, better abilities, right? Even after doing all that, sometimes you just need better stuff, right? And you just need the materials to be able to awaken your units, get new abilities. And so doing these events, right, will really let you step up your game to the next level, get a ton of cool stuff, really useful stuff, and make you a hell of a lot stronger. So those are the 3 event types. Okay, so that wraps up this beginner series episode, right? And this was a bit of a different episode than we usually do, but I did do a lot of explaining, and I hope you got something out of it, right? Because, again, like I told you, I was a beginner when I did this. I've had to learn all these things from the beginning, from scratch, right? And let me just wrap up what we did today, right? The way I progress through the game is I usually go through the storyline, right? Pick up equipment and recipes and items from chests, even hidden chests scattered throughout the world, scattered in the cities, through the exploration dungeons, everywhere, right? Also getting the espers as I go along, right? You can always look up where to find all these cool items, right? Because they aren't always in the most obvious locations. But you can get some pretty strong loot from them, right? And the espers, they'll just make your party even stronger. So doing that, and when you get stuck, right, also, first, enhancing your units, which means increasing their levels, right, to the max level, after which you can awaken them, right, and which lets you level them up even more afterwards. But by doing that, right, they automatically just get a lot stronger. They get new abilities, right, and it just makes your party a lot stronger. So doing that in combination with equipping new equipment, right, new abilities, and you'll be ready to continue the storyline. But of course, right, these awakening materials, you know, the metal gigantars to enhance your units, they can be hard to come by. So doing the events that we talked about, right, the 3 types of events, the raid events, the King Mog events, and the story events, you can get some really cool rewards, you know, from the awakening materials to gems for new abilities, right, the metal gigantars, gil, all kinds of really cool loot and gear, right, some really powerful weapons in there as well, and the materials to craft them. So I hope this helped you out, honestly, because I've been following this strategy so far, and it's been working out for me, right? And as long as, you know, whenever you get stuck, just repeat the cycle, and you'll make a lot of progress really quickly, I'm sure. So that wraps up this week's episode, and I'll see you next time.